Backseas Musical Podcast.
Resistance is useless!
Welcome back to Backseas Musical Podcast. You are in for a hell of a ride today with my guest, Fritz Fox from the Mutants. You know, in the 1960s, the city of San Francisco, California, was a center of American counterculture. It was a hub city for the hippie movement, Haight-Ashbury, anti-war protest, free love, bunch of other shit. And then there was also the music, which was the connecting piece for all of it. And all of that's been well documented over the last 55 years. But as some of you know, this wouldn't be the last time that San Francisco would host another important cultural movement in which music would become its defining legacy. In the mid-1970s, the earliest seeds of punk music had become already well established in cities like New York. But within the next couple of years, punk music would be exploding in places like Washington, D.C., and Boston, and Chicago. But in California, the spread of punk rock, particularly in L.A. and San Francisco, were still very much underground. It's almost as if the kids of California were dying to shed that hippie and Laurel Canyon singer-songwriter stuff and punch it right in the face and claim something for their own. And that's what made it so much damn fun. But make no mistake, punk just didn't suddenly hit California. The underground had been there for a while. And from that underground movement came a groundswell of punk that would restore Los Angeles and San Francisco as cultural center points. Eventually, the music and the crowd started to take a very different turn. Punk would go from the Ramones wanting to sniff some glue in New York to radically more intense and more socially critical music. And while this music was perhaps less commercial than Blondie or the Talking Heads, some of it is really fantastic. And it would be an important shift in the climate as suddenly punk rock seemed more dangerous and threatening to the rest of American society. And while the music may not seem all that subversive by today's standards, in the late 70s and early 80s, the West Coast punk bands were seen as a serious decline in Western civilization. In Los Angeles, you had bands like the Runaways, the Germs, the Weirdos, X, the Dickies, and the Go-Go's. And in San Francisco, you had bands like the Dead Kennedys, the Offs, the Nuns, Crime, and the Mutants. Later, these bands would inspire bands like Black Flag and the Circle Jerks, the Minutemen, and the Adolescents and the Descendants, and many others. And those bands would go on to influence other great bands like Guns N' Roses and Metallica and Anthrax. Some of those early bands may not be entirely household names, but their influence was significant and still felt today, not just musically, but historically as well. And among those playing an essential role in that history were the Mutants. The Mutants were a wildly popular San Francisco band that led the art rock side of the San Francisco punk scene. Notorious for their over-the-top stage shows, it would be the Mutants that were selected as the opening act for the first American tour for Joy Division in 1980, a tour which sadly never happened following the suicide death of Ian Curtis just days before the tour was about to begin. They were also the opening act for what is now one of the most famous punk shows of all time, the Napa State Mental Hospital with the Cramps. The Mutants were involved in a bunch of other legendary moments as well, and their music is finally getting a well-deserved second look. They've just released a brand new retrospective called Curse of the Easily Amused. The album looks back at their music from 1977 through 1984 and includes songs that have never been available up until now, and it is fantastic. My guest today is one of the legendary lead singers for the Mutants, Fritz Fox, on Backseas Musical Podcast.
Backseat.
Hey, Fritz, how are you?
Hey, man. I'm fine. Nice to see you.
Good to see you. How you been?
I've been good. I've been really good, actually.
There you go.
There you go. Good to see you.
I'm just as
I'm
technical
bolder
as
than I
this is.
thought, man.
Well, you look good.
I wish I looked as good as you. You look great.
Well, yes, you're right. Well, thank you very much. Thank you. Hey, this is really exciting for me because not only have I've been a fan of the Mutants for a while, but this just came in today, the new album, and I was so excited about talking to you about this because the one and only album that I have is Fun Terminal, and I've had it for years, and then to realize there's been music out there by the Mutants that's been sitting out there for years, in some ways really undiscovered. Tell me about the new record and how this came to be.
There's this woman. Her name is Ivy. She's from North Beach in San Francisco, and she's a great fan of ours. And I really loved her and stuff. And she loved the Mutants, and she liked me. And I goes, and she's so smart. Man, she was smart. So I would go like, I'm writing a screenplay, and it's called The Man from Omicron. And this alien who is not necessarily human, but as it travels from the goes through all the spheres, and finds himself in the Mission District, like 6 in Natoma Street. And he's fucked up. He's like really doesn't know how to talk, and it's and he just sees everything. He imitates everything he sees. He sees like kids walking down the street. The first thing he sees is kids walking down the street, jumping, and they're jumping all the way down the alley, and then he gets up from his stupor of falling through all the spheres, the atmosphere, and finally smack dab in the concrete. It looks like one of the winos there, And I had a studio there, so he starts imitating people. So okay, Ivy, I said, I want to. This is a science fiction film. And it's an adaptation of a movie that I saw about a man from a planet called Omicron, and this is what I have. I had Sally was my star. I fell in love with Sally, and I couldn't. I just wanted to do crazy things with her, not really sexual, but funny, just be with her, because she was my inspiration. And I told her I'm gonna make her a star, and so I gave her the part as a woman lead in The Man from Omicron, and the character was XOF01. That's Fox 10 backwards. Yeah, it should have been 9, but 9 is a great number. Oh, man, I love 9. But I should have had it. I didn't get it. And I just, I don't know what to do. I'm having trouble. She says, "Oh, you just got to get higher, man. You got to get, much more hunter, get loaded, and you're on stage, especially, you're better when you're loaded." I go, "Oh, wow." Anyway, so she always said stuff. She's like, "Your band is like Curse of the Easily Amused. The simplest stupid things, just getting your attention, and you pay too much attention to them." Anyway, that was she passed away, and God bless her. I miss her. I think about her quite often. And she said, you're just doomed. You're cursed. The curse of the easily amused. Everything, and stuff. And that's where I homage to her. But also there's all kinds of other people, like our bass player passed away, Paul, and he was great. I miss him, and I wanted to just get to know that I think he was great, and I feel bad about his death, and probably always will. But anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about. I rambled on, and it was your fault. I just rambled on.
Yeah, man. I guess
you let me go. You let me go. We can't do that.
You know what? That's fine. I'm happy to
Yeah.
let you. I'm happy to let you to go on and answer whatever you want. But
Man, I ran off my mouth with Joe Gershon yesterday in the interview. I just like, and my wife was standing here, Cynthia was standing here and saying, "Shut the fuck up, let some speak." Well, you're going like this.
Well-
She said, and that I no, I'm telling you, you got to have time for you to talk. You're the funny one here.
I don't know about I don't know about that, but it's
No, you are, man. That-
well, the thing about the Mutants that I've always felt is true. And I mean, there's a number of bands that I think kind of fall into this. I mean, you guys were, to me, pigeonholed as a punk band, but I never heard you that way. You know, to me, this was just a great rock band with songs that were fun, funny, and interesting and real clever. And to me, that's kind of what separated the Mutants from what punk would become, especially in, Los Angeles and San Francisco, where it would become harder and angrier and perhaps more violent. I never saw the Mutants that way at all. To me, the opening track of the new record is Party. To me, that's what the Mutants were all about.
oh, that man, God, that was you think we're gonna sing that on stage, man? The girls are going, no way, come on. I go, it's like it's ragtag, it's not, and stuff like. So we tried a couple of times and it didn't, and they weren't, their hearts weren't in it, but God bless them, man. They really came alive later on down the line. We're lucky to have dames in our band. You know what I mean?
Mm.
God, I mean, if you got if there's not a female persona, running around, and having that, oh God, I just love it so much. I feel like that's why I'm fortunate, that I'm lucky enough to have girls. I'm the band's lucky enough to have girls in the band. But that's what it is. And when Sue and Sally left for a while, they quit the band for a while, and they were serious. And I go, how could you do that? And okay, and you're so popular and everything. It's like, oh man, we're not gonna survive. And we're gonna play music, man. We're gonna play music. God damn it, and I don't know. We pull ourselves up, 4 decades we've been together, Bix.
I mean, that says something about how much fun you guys must be having when you're performing this music. Because I mean, I've seen a few videos of you guys on stage, some of the older videos, and it looks like so much fun at a time when some of that music was starting to get almost like too serious, and before things started to get really really pissed off. You guys were putting on a show and having a blast doing it. To me, that's the whole point of starting a band.
Oh man, did you get the Fat Man show? We did the Fat Man show. I go like, damn, I'd like to have a night, something nice to wear on the stage, I go, and I go to the Goodwill and stuff, and I go, man, that's a hell of a suit, I like it. And like, I'm in the short men's association, so clothes, can be too big for me. And I go like, you know what? This is an opportunity, so much of a thing, dressing for, to be the front man on the stage, and I always plotted my tail, gonna be cool, good looking and everything. So I said, yeah, I like that. I'll come buy a big suit, and in the band, and no one said anything about. So I go like, wow, I just tuck a pillow here and there, I had pillows up, on my ass and stuff, they're sticking the pants out like I had a a great butt, and this there like, whoa. So I go, I said, listen, why don't I want to do a fat man show, you know, and look, look at it, everybody, you know, put, fatten yourselves up with cushions and everything. Just make yourself look ridiculously lying. And Sally and Sue did, man. They said, "Oh, fuck yeah, we do that." Man.
One of the videos I saw, she was whether it was Sally or Sue. You'll have to forgive me on that one. One of them was wearing a fat suit, and it looked it looks ridiculous. But I mean, honestly, that was a part of the appeal of the Mutants. It's like you didn't know what was coming up on in a show. Showmanship means something, and when you're having a great time, it's infectious.
I know, and you got to season in a little argument too. There's got to be a little bit of argument. No, man, it's transferring over to, like they're gone, but and they won't play any more shows. They told me, but whatever, if the money's right, something that happened big. No, but anyway. I don't, think, that this is going to be like the greatest thing in my life, having, but there's only going to be one interview, that I'll have with you.
Right.
And hopefully, I'll have more with you, but because I love your sense of humor. And I was wondering, like, what do you guys do to keep the jokes going all the time, man? You and Steve and Dave and Steve.
Oh, you would listen to the radio show. Wow. Well, I mean, one, I've been doing it forever. So I've been doing it for 35 years. And the other part is, by that time in the morning, 5:30 in the morning, I've been up for 2.5 hours. I've had all the coffee I can possibly drink. I'm usually ready to go. I'm ready to rip.
Yeah, I love the mornings. I do best work, in the morning. I do creative things in the morning, and it's like a time that like, okay, I'm gonna get up much before Cynthia's up, and I'm going to start my day, and I will. I'll take out my harmonicas and play, blues and blues and play blues and play blues and play blues. And there's another thing, punk music. The way I looked at it, to me, it had to be. It's a form of the blues. It's an urban blues, and it's a form of the blues, and that's the way I'm going to treat it, except, that kind of thought doesn't work on stage when people say, I want someone to fucking beat me fast. I can jump and spit, I need something really fucking neurotic. Give me some neurotic, neuroses. I want to see neurotic. It's like, I go, man. And I go like, ooh, I love to be able to sing like Frank Sinatra, those bossa novas he did with Carlos Jobim, the Wave. Oh my God, what a beautiful song with Frank Sinatra singing on that. I go, man, and I play that. I play the bossa nova while I'm here in Maine, and walk around and just singing. I sing everything, every bossa nova song that I'm hearing, and I go like, man, I wish the band, we need to be, would be hearing this and would be working something together, like, well, here you are, Fritz in Maine, and there, San Francisco, and I mean, just what kind of,
How'd you find yourself in Maine?
I got married, and I found somebody that was this woman that loved me for who I was, and appreciated what I wanted to do. And I didn't have the dough and nothing, but I was working hard. I was living in New York. And I met her, and she recognized me from a show. Something. Her friend Anne Colachitas had dragged her to a show, and I got the show, and she saw the Mutants, and she said, I that she kind of liked me, and she was attracted to me. Well, boom, skip till many years later, I moved to New York in 1978, and I no, I didn't. Excuse me, 1989, and I've been living in New York, and in 1995, I was working at a bakery delivering bread to restaurants and stuff. I got into a band with a guy named Von Berglund, and we would and a couple guys, some New York guys. We called ourselves Puka, and we wrote really weird songs. One like one drop of water for all the world. The bird sings with his fingertips. And then we have congratulations, planet Earth. We are so very proud of you. No, you made your mistakes. What the hell? We made ours too. Yeah, it was like the Earth Day song, And oh man, that was fun.
One of the things that I was reading about, and I also saw video on YouTube, and the more I dove into the Mutants a little bit, the idea of you doing shows with the Cramps makes all the sense in the world, and the idea of you guys doing a show at the Napa State Hospital, which was a mental hospital back then, that had to be maybe the greatest show there ever was.
Shut the fuck up, man. Come on, man.
Just the idea of the Mutants and the Cramps playing in front of a bunch of mentally ill people. You almost have to wonder, well, who's more disturbed, the musicians or the crowd? That had to be just an amazing day.
It was neurotic and profound. It was neurotic and profound. And I look at people's faces, and human beings, we have no right to look at somebody and start, wondering what their inner thoughts is or not. That's none of our business. It's the language, that's the dialectic between two people. But no, people were looking at each other. It was, like a picnic of people just like watching each other and stuff. And then I realized that, I look at somebody like some of these inmates and I'd smile, like, hi, and it was like, oh God, it was like they got a drink of water or something, and they smile back at you, and I go, what? I go, I'm pretty empty-headed a lot of the times, too, and you don't have to have a thought in your mind every minute of every second of the day, you can be out there, floundering around, the mind is needs like a little break too, and that's what I felt. And it goes like the afternoon, and I go like, we got to play, and so I was there, and I was like, Sally had given me a little piece of paper, like blotter paper, and it was you look at it really close, like, and it was just a little thing, and it was a profile of Jerry Lewis, and she goes, here, take this, and I go, what? Sally, cool, man. What is that? You have to take that. Go ahead, take it. I go, it's all right. And all the way on the bus, I was singing and pretending that I was like a star or something. I felt really, nice. Yeah, we're on a bus, and they got the bus for us, and we're going out to the country and stuff. And I then, I'd probably been drinking the night before, and I kind of had a hangover. And when you get a hangover, and you're out with people, like your emotional self goes right to the front of your skin, and like, and everything. Ooh, or you're laughing, every, so I was on the bus with her, and I was singing, I'll take New York in June. How about you? I was singing like corny old songs that I had heard and stuff. And her should go, or trying to ignore me, but I was just I just wanted to perform, I want to perform it, and dig me, man. I'm here for you. You got, it's like, it's like, don't you want me? Oh man, but that was what that was about, and I got very, very, very intoxicated. I didn't, not with the drinking, but from that little piece of paper, and it was deep, and it was kind of weird, and and I looked at Lux Interior. I go, man, now there's a lead singer. I would say to myself, now there's a lead singer, man. Look at that. That guy is ready to go, and he's handsome enough that he could pull it off, And he's tall. He's a tall guy, I'm going like, oh, I would like to, be like, and I really like, I still do, I still think about him sometimes when I'm on the stage, He was a very good Dix. He was very talented,
Yeah, the Cramps were fantastic, and obviously with his death, I mean that band is no longer a functioning unit. I don't know if people realize how fantastic the Cramps were, and then and again, Cramps get the credit for that one particular show at the Napa State Hospital, but it's the Mutants that open it. So the first couple of seconds of that show had to be, for the people in the crowd and the staff had to be it had to be a hell of a scene. I can't even wrap my head around what it must have been like in the first few seconds. I'm not sure if they had any idea what they were getting themselves into.
Oh man, we had some people with us, Vicky was there. I think Vicky Schrott, God bless her, she was wonderful. And they were like, I had a really good time doing that. That was I think Joe Reese set that up, something, but that was really something. It was an opportunity, to touch people. I think then I realized that, there's lots of places we could play. We could do that, we could be, as long as we could appeal to people's reality, as long as we could appeal to their reality and show them a little bit of I'm preaching Buddhism or not, and people, and show them, happiness, show them, help them experience happiness, and not, absolute happiness, but a happiness that, feeds their spirit and their soul, and leads them towards 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 more happiness. And then it's like a road path, and that's all music can really do for people, is that's the highest thing.
It's very cool to hear you say that, because I think the reputation of the Mutants as a live band, it's kind of legendary in a way. We talked about that already. One of the things that I've heard, and I don't entirely agree with this, many people say that in the first record, Fun Terminal, as good of a record as that is, and it's a solid rock and roll record, that the record didn't really reflect what you guys were all about. It didn't sound like the band would sound live, and that it was kind of a hard record to make because it didn't really reflect fully what you guys were all about. But at the end of the day, to me, it's one of the most underrated and undervalued records of the early 80s.
Oh man, thank you.
Well, I
That's
mean
nice.
that. I'm
Nice to hear it.
so tell me about making that record. I mean, you guys have been around for a while, and then you had a couple of singles out, a couple 7 inches that came out. But what was it that was so difficult about about Fun Terminal?
The mutants were, we had made stuff. We'd gone to some recording studios, and we had some failures, but we kept the recordings, and we kept that stuff. There's a guy named Keith Behringer. Anyway, a good friend of Brendan's, right? And he got all of this material together, or he got versions of it and stuff, and then he compiled it, put it together, and had some CDs printed of it, many, as a matter of fact. And the band, but that time we were just like, hey, maybe we didn't make it, but we had some fun, yada yada yada. So we're just like kicking back, I was writing I got into writing screenplays and stuff, and I wanted to do that. And Brendan was doing stuff, and Ivy passed away. We wanted to have a benefit for her, to pay homage to her. So we got together, and my wife now, this was way back in the early 2000s. We all got together, and we had a show at Skips, I think, in San Francisco, and it was a very good show. And then we got together and started playing more shows and more shows. And then the band broke up, the girls left. So I said, well, so we break up, do you want to do that, Brandon? No, I didn't even have it in my mind that I wanted to break up at all. I just wanted to keep playing. And I said, well, I'm just going to sing. I'll be a lead man singer, We went on and on and on, and then we got more girls, and we got Mia. She was in the Wild Women, Frightwig. She's in Frightwig. And she's beautiful. She's very gorgeous young lady. And then we had to get somebody, another person too. So we got Connie Champagne. Did you ever hear her?
No, I don't know if I have.
Okay, I'll give you a description of her. She is, really cute and everything. She dances wildly. Like I saw we played at the American Music Hall recently.
Okay.
And she was like, like, but she sings incredible.
Yeah.
She has a little thing that she does when a Judy Garland review, and she does that. That's her another show, but she sings with the Mutants, and also Mia Simmons. She's great. So that's what we have now, these girls. And also Lizzie, a girl named Lizzie, not Lily. And I just, we played a place at the bottom of the hill, and I was living in Denver, in Silver Plume, near Denver, in Silver Plume. So we got a show in San Francisco at the Greater Music Hall, and I went to this place, and I had names, printed, not printed, but embossed on a tag like this.
Sure.
I had everybody's name.
Well, your name
I
tag.
said, yeah.
Okay.
I said, name tags.
Yeah. Hey, I'm happy to help, Fritz. I'm happy to help.
No, man, I'm not giving you enough time to speak. I got to stop it right now. but I give them all name tags. We each had a name tag on, on our coats. It's been a while since we had any practice. I went to practice and I says, okay, here we go. This is the big gimmick of the show. We're not going to come out in fat suits. We're not going to have a big thing of fish they're going to throw on the audience. We're not going to do any of these, things. We're just going to have our name tags here because now we play so good that they might want to know our names. And so I want to give them that immediately. I should just think of yourself as your workers. We're workers, okay? We're music workers. Yeah. Anyway, these kind of ranks, but it went over very nicely. People, saw it, and there were black, tags and gold embossed threads. I had Fritz and Connie and
I can only imagine, like, Led Zeppelin or the Rolling Stones with name tags just to remind themselves of who they are. You're Keith, right? Hi, Keith.
oh
Hi,
man.
Mick. It's very nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Probably a good idea.
Yeah, because people forget names, there happened. I forgot the fellow's name, that was interviewing me yesterday, and it's really embarrassing. It's really embarrassing. You got to know that. That must have happened.
It happens. It happens to me all the time, and the way I get around it, I think this winds up being such a great approach. If my wife is with me, I will, and someone approaches us, and I cannot remember their name. Like, I'm completely blanking on it. I will say to this person, "Have you met my wife, Jenny?" And Jenny says, and she knows enough to say, "Hi, I'm Jenny." And at that point, that person almost always says what their name is. "Oh yes, Steve. It's very good to meet you." It's like we've got this orchestrated. So if I forget someone's name, it won't be for very long. It's because it works every time.
Well, we do sometimes. Sometimes we're sitting here, we meet some new people here in Maine, and we're talking to them, and I'm thinking to myself, man, this is like a George Burns and Gracie Allen to these people, and so guy, looks at me and smiles. I said, "You like lobsters?"
No, I'm from Maine. Why would I like that?
What's wrong with this guy? What's he asking me that for? What does he want to know that for? Oh, that's what the hell does he need to know that for right now? So then I figured out, it's if you say something incongruent in a conversation that is different, and it's funny because it doesn't fit. It's a wrong explanation, or it's in the wrong context or something. That's what makes stuff funny, and that's why your guys' show is funny.
Well, thank you.
Because they go like, "Oh, it's my character. I'm breaking character now," but you can't hear it. But we're, asking me about a basket of what? Anyway, you guys really got it down,
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I really do. I've been there for a good long time. This will be my 27th year at that radio station. So it's
yeah. So yeah, it's I'm way out here, in Searsport, Maine. It's not like being in Chicago. I'm out here.
Yeah.
I'm out here, and I'm living in this enormous place that was left to my wife. And I fell in love with her, and I started. I was working at the Vail Resorts as a concierge for a meeting service. A meeting service concierge is a very valuable man, was the ombudsman for keeping meetings together, and being the in between the staff and so I worked there for 6 years, and my wife and I lived in a little place, and she had just retired. She's a teacher, a photographer and
Hmm.
stuff. And I was waiting just for something to happen, and many women before that I've had experience, he said, no, don't take the chance. You can't quit that job. You can't quit that job. And then her mother-in-law, Jenny, I must mention her. These are all characters. Uh, she was she says, we're going to Maine, to this place that I'm in now. And I says, oh, great. Uh, I can take a few weeks off from work. Yes, at the concierge place. And she goes, she's from Brooklyn. She goes, no, we got 2 weeks ain't gonna do it, Fritz. You're not gonna do it. I go, what are you talking about? She said, well, tell them you got to take a month off. You got to go, and stop in South Bend, see your mom and everything. And then we're going to continue and drive out to Maine, and we're going to be there a month. She said, you don't need to tell them that it's for family, So I went there and told them, and they said, uh, well, we're gonna have the evangelical kids coming in. It's going to be religious camp here at Keystone Resorts, and they're going to be all over. We're very, very busy then, Fritz. You can't have a month, a month.
Right.
I said, "Well," so I go back. It's like, Jenny, I can't go. I just, you and Cynthia just go out there and do it without me. So she says to me, her mom says to me, she says, how old are you? How the hell old are you? I go, I said, I'm 62. And she says, well, you go down to the Social Security thing and get get your Social Security going. I said, what? I can't, I got a job. Then it seemed like, and then it started raining to me, and so he goes, yeah, I gotta quit. I got to quit. I got to quit so I can make music or something, do something. And it says, ain't this working, for other people, making them, you know, rich or whatever. It's a nice service, good to help people, but it doesn't what I wanted to do. And so I quit on her. And ever since that time, Cindy and I have, been doing everything we want. We think it's adventures.
Yeah.
I got a boat sitting out behind the barn, right next to the barn, and it's a 27-foot sailboat with a full keel.
Right.
And it's right next door to me. And I had the boat. I bought it 4 years ago for a very inexpensive amount, but I haven't done a lot to it. So it sits there. And it's very hard and expensive to move it. And so she says to me, because I'm gonna get the mast. I'm gonna take it down the ocean, get the mast put on, and then I was gonna sail the rest of the summer. She said, "That's no, you're not gonna do that." And I go, "No." No. She says, "You're just not. It's just not in you to get it going." And I start thinking that, well, there's a modicum of truth there. I've let it be here for 4 years and haven't done anything to it. So if I was obsessed about the boat, I'd have it going and be on the water and everything. So we decided to give the boat to the Sea Scouts.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, so the
Yeah.
Sea Scouts to take it away. have the room back again, and it'll be nice. And it'll be going to somebody that can use it and will use it.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. Hey, listen,
Yeah.
I've had a blast talking to you today. This has been a lot of
Talk too
fun.
much again, right? Your 15 minutes is gone. Well, yeah.
No.
I did. It's happened yesterday too, man. I'm
Hey,
sorry.
listen,
I'm long-winded.
but this
I'm
is
sorry.
but this is an interview for about you, and you were terrific, and I appreciate it. And again, the new album, it's wonderful, and the old album is also great too. So people need to rediscover the Mutants, because it's music that's definitely worth listening to.
Well, thanks, Bix. It's really great talking with you, and you have a wonderful program.
Thank
and
you.
the guys that you're working with seem like, man, it's great. You're having a good time.
Well, we're doing our best. Thank you.
I'm envious. I like to be doing that every day.
Yeah. Well, Fritz, it's a real pleasure to talk to you. Hopefully, we can do it again soon sometime.
I hope so.
All right.
Maybe get another hit or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Okay.
Nice to meet you, Fritz. Thank you.
Ciao for now.
All right. The name of the new collection from the Mutants is called Curse of the Easily Amused. It's a really great record, and a really important one, too. Thanks for listening to the podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like it, share it, review it, tell all your friends about it. You can also reach me at bax@rock102.com. I'd love to know what you think. And thanks again for listening to Baxi's Musical Podcast.